Welcome to episode number 12 of Sheev's Throne Room podcast. We got this week, it's Adrian, me, Andres, and Zach. We're going to talk a little bit about Bad Batch as usual, the Slave One quote unquote controversy, and as well as a little bit of the High Republic stuff that just got released today. So anyway, how you guys been liking Bad Batch? Obviously, it's been 3 episodes or so. We were just talking pre-show with Cad Bane and stuff like that, but how are you guys feeling about it?
I just realized there's not 16 episodes, huh? There's 14?
I think there's 16.
Okay.
Because episode 8 was the mid-season, that whole standoff was
Right,
the
okay, yeah.
mid-season.
That's what I wanted
Yeah, I
to
think
say,
it's
that we
supposed to
are
be
essentially
16.
at that mid-season point. So it's only been 2 episodes since the last time, right?
Two or
8 and 9,
two or three. What was I honestly I forget what the marker
When was the
from
last
when
time
we
we
last.
talked about?
I think.
Sounds like somebody should do some homework before doing this.
Okay, shut the.
I don't.
Are you being snide towards me or Andrew? I don't know.
No, Andrew, this is his podcast.
I don't think Rex had showed up yet.
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, no?
Super professional podcast. I'm just pulling up. I'm opening Disney Plus right now. Reunion, Battle Scars.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, because that's...
Yeah, because the last one we talked about was the Martez sisters.
Yeah,
Okay.
which was the decommissioned.
Yeah, was because
So
it
it's
was
been
like
3 since last time? Wow.
Damn.
man, I was
Slacking.
Oh yeah, because we were trying to figure out who the hologram was. That
Yeah.
the Martez sisters were talking to.
That's
and turns
right.
out I was wrong on 2 accounts. It was not Bail Organa, and turns out Omega is not genetically modified to age quickly. So I was wrong.
Damn, dude. Way to ruin his streak.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
I know. We're not. I guess we're not. We're false prophets at this point. Or I am.
No. Well, let's profit back a little bit, because I think we had definitely mentioned that, like, oh, Wrecker, like, he's definitely gonna like have a chip moment or something. I thought he was gonna stay sicko mode for a little bit, but
It was just an episode.
I'm
It
glad
was
they
like,
got that. Yeah.
oh, I'm
think we
sorry.
can
I'm
still
gonna have
see
some
it.
popcorn.
I think we
I
can
think-
still see it come back, right?
Well, they had him removed, no?
Yeah, they had
Yeah,
all,
check
they
them
have
out.
those chips removed. Yeah, unless
Yeah.
they didn't remove Omegas. If Omega has one, can you
They can't
imagine?
imagine. She just-
that I
Omega
think that
kills
they
the Bad
didn't say
Batch.
anything. Yeah.
My
Good
name is
soldiers, follow
Omega, and
orders.
you're under arrest from the Empire.
Oh, no.
Like 3 different accents.
Oh, no. You know what I just realized?
What's that?
No wonder I've been so confused. I missed an episode.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm so confused. Why didn't I know that about Wrecker? I didn't see episode 7.
But you just saw
watched the
8,
ones
8
after
and
that?
9.
Yeah, I watched it.
So they're just like, why are they on
6, 8,
Braca?
9.
Like,
Damn, that's crazy.
you should go watch that after this.
Wow,
a good
yeah.
episode.
Definitely will.
It's like the last 3 episodes have been like plot heavy episodes.
Smooth, my guy. Smooth.
Nicely done.
We'll spoil.
I'd
on
just
that
go
one.
for it.
Well, he spoiled himself because he watched episode 8
Yeah.
and 9.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they really like go back to it too much, but yeah, they had their chips removed in that episode that you missed. The Wrecker also had been like activated because his headache set kept going. What else would you have?
Did you
missed
guys
in that
mention
episode?
Rex just now?
Yeah, Rex showed
Rex
up.
shows
I
up.
was so confused when he said Rex. I was like,
Yeah.
Rex is the one who told them they had to get their chips taken out.
'Cause
oh no, I knew
he
that
had,
was
like,
gonna come.
He had a PTSD moment where like, you guys don't have your chips
Yeah.
taken out?
He like pulled his gun. He almost pulled his gun on the
I
bed.
can't trust anyone without their chips in. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh yeah, he was. I forgot. He was like pulling Omega away. He's like, we can't trust any of these fuckers while we chips.
I was wondering, like,
The government's tracking them.
I was
got the
wondering how
vaccines.
Tinfoil hat. Put on this tinfoil hat. Block their signals from reaching you. Yeah. So what else would you have missed then? They
all from
went
episode 7.
right. That's why they went to Braca. The I forget if you've played Fallen Order, but that's the planet that you start out there as well. That like scrapper planet, I
Yeah.
guess, essentially, right?
Yeah, it's like the Scrapper Guild planet. All the decommissioned warships go there.
Oh, actually, so there's two things you'd miss then, because so they went there to go use the med bay, I think, of one of
Yeah.
the old
Avengers.
yeah, ships, and while they're there, Crosshair finds them. Oh wait, is that the next
No,
episode? That might
that's
be...
the next
that's
episode.
episode 8.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay, so then yeah, you were probably a little confused why they were there all of a sudden.
Yeah, literally the only thing
Because
that
just
happens.
You weren't confused when Echo in the next episode when Echo's like, we should have gone with Rex.
maybe I missed. I just jumped over that dialogue. Dude, I don't know what happened.
How high were you?
Imagine I was probably sober.
Anyway, so literally
Yeah.
that episode was just them taking out their chips. Rex shows up and then he leaves by the end of the episode. That was it.
I was wondering how they were gonna like introduce that they have chips in their heads.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
I'm glad
Wrecker,
they did it the Rex way.
Wrecker almost killed Omega, and then Rex stunned Wrecker. And then they had like a whole moment. Wrecker was about to just like destroy Omega.
Oh,
But it's all good right now because they shared popcorn together.
Yeah,
I know that wasn't you. But I think the bigger episodes would be episode 8 and 9. 8 being when
Yes.
the Empire catches up and a certain bounty hunter that we've been saying, I think since the Bad Batch has been announced, we wanted to show up, and sure enough, good old Cad Bane showed up. I
did.
literally squealed. Like, I'm like, no.
It was really cool seeing him like with the way better animation
Yeah.
that they have now. It's just like, ooh,
He's a
That was
bounty
crispness.
hunter. Oh, look
Um,
at that. She's got it figured out. I was like, yeah.
the one thing is it just they changed his voice, right?
No, it's the same
Slightly.
voice.
It doesn't. At least in episode 8, it sounded a little bit different to me, and then 9, he sounded the same again as normal. But like
It may have been just because you haven't heard him in so long.
that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
I missed him. I missed him.
Well, I mean, someone had figured out that it's been 9 years since he's been shown on a screen. Not for everybody that's been like binging it, but like from the air
In
date to air
universe?
date. No, like air date
Oh,
to air date.
okay.
It's been 9 years.
Oh, yeah, universe. It would have been like I don't know,
A
a
year.
few months, I guess, right?
Yeah.
yeah, because he wasn't in the last season at all.
He hasn't
Mm.
wasn't even the last 2 or 3. Because I'm pretty sure the last one was. Let me figure that out.
Was it when they were trying to take Palpatine, like with
I
when
think
Obi-Wan
so.
shapeshifted?
I
I
showed up
th-
after that,
I think so.
but maybe not.
Um,
No, it was still really, really dope seeing him. Plus, some of like the shots that they had in that episode 8, the first time he shows up. I don't know. They were
Crisis on Naboo, season 4.
shootout.
Yeah, the shootout was sweet. The last episode he was in Clone Wars is season 4, The Crisis on Naboo, which is
Season
what,
4?
Oh wow,
yeah,
Jeez.
it's been a while.
Was that the bounty hunter episode?
yeah, that was
Like the-
that was when they're
okay.
trying to kidnap Palpatine.
Oh,
That was
okay.
a sick episode. That was so much
Yeah.
fun. They were just like they're competing against each other, and then the whole fight scene to kidnap him.
Mm-hmm. It was good times.
Yeah, because that was the one where Obi-Wan faked his death.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that whole arc was pretty good. Good old Embo. Wonder if we'll see Embo now.
No, I doubt it.
I mean, he's still alive. He's kicking around until the Battle of Jakku, at least. So, and then
I don't know. Yeah, I still been liking it. I'm glad that we're at that halfway point now.
yeah, and I feel like every episode's
Definitely
been,
feels like they've kept things moving.
and
at a
the
good
plot
pace.
itself has been just like there's a lot of cool stuff happening. Like the
Yeah.
last
Mhm.
episode with revealing that basically Omega and Boba are brother and sister.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, like he's Alpha, she's Omega, obviously. But she's a Gen 1 and not an unaltered, which I'm like, oh, cool. I guess I was wrong about that. Happy accident. And then they killed Tonwi.
Rest in peace, Tonwi.
Dad, Tonwi's dead.
Gone forever.
Gone but
So
not forgotten.
when Omega was I forget what that was. It was just like an abandoned warehouse planet, I guess.
Like on
She's
the
like
last
running
one?
from yeah, in this most recent episode, and she sees like these giant test tube
Yeah,
looking things, right?
it was almost like an ancient Kaminoan facility, but like in the clouds.
Is that supposed to be like an illusion, like them alluding to Snoke? Because
I
like
think so.
just the way that those
The
the
green
bodies were
bottles
like
kind
shaped and everything. Yeah.
well, there are
So,
Kaminoans in the tubes, but the way it was like
oh.
disintegrating kind of looked like Snoke in on Exegol there.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was them supposed to be like, we're
I think it
hinting
was like
towards
a
like that's where this is all going.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's and I mean we talked about it before and how Mando was kind of like going to bridge the gap
Mm-hmm.
between the sequels and the original. I think Bad Batch is probably going to help set up this a lot of this the mythology of cloning. So
Yeah.
when Poe says that's only a somehow Palpatine's back and Dominic Monaghan was like that's Sith technology or whatever the hell he says. Like it's setting it up so that's that kind of thing where I think we're gonna see the borderline genocide of the Kaminoans at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, super. I'm very happy with the like especially with the last like 3 or 4 episodes of Bad Bad Trip and been like okay now they're getting into some stuff. They've already set up the character development and all that, but
No, I'm liking where it's going.
same.
And I
Crosshair got screwed up.
Yeah, he got. I saw someone where on Reddit was with him and all of his bandages and stuff. It's like, man, does Crosshair become Dengar?
It's full on mummified.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, he got fucked up pretty badly. I feel like when you initially see him just get scorched with the like giant jet engine thing,
doesn't seem bad.
like you couldn't really tell, yeah, like how bad it was. Then all of a sudden he's like half machine, basically. Bro, what
Yeah.
are you, man?
It's like, well, yo, you look like you're like an iron lung at this point.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be like something gonna be. He's got so messed up that they're gonna turn him into a Death Trooper kind of thing. I think that's where that's leading.
Like he's the origins of Death Troopers.
Yeah, I think that would be the plausible, because I feel like they're gonna take out his chip and he's not gonna change at all. Like I think he's gonna be like,
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
he's like, nah, it wasn't the chip. I chose this.
He's like, I took my chip out ages
Could have
ago.
fought it. Yeah, I could have fought it.
I'm just really into electroshock therapy, and I took out my shot. It's
And I
like,
like killing, and I love killing children.
yeah,
It's been a dream come true, actually. This whole Empire business really paying off.
I can finally get to be who I am.
all right.
Yeah, I'm liking Crosshair being RoboCop, essentially.
Yeah,
cool.
no, I want full cybernetics by the end of the show. Full on killing kids. Do
I
we
wonder, is Crosshair Darth Vader?
think? Yeah, no, he becomes.
Oh
Darth
yeah.
Vader. Do you think Boba's going to be showing up now? Seeing as we've
Yes.
got a mention of Alpha
Yeah,
and Cad Bane
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I feel like it's a
Yeah.
must.
I feel like they have to
it
now at this
definitely
point.
feels like
I feel like they have to set up how Fennec and Boba know each other.
See now, my theory. I think it was like episode 4 or something. I talked about my theory of Fennec kind of falling in with the Bad Batch, and that's why she falls in with Boba so easily. I think that's starting to hold water because she was trying to save Omega. Wasn't trying to capture her or anything like that. She was trying to get her for Nala's sake, but her mission was to keep her out of the hands of the Kaminoans. That was her mission, not to bring her back.
not captured. Yeah,
So I think they're gonna start like their interests are aligned and they'll like team up or whatever, and there might be something between her and Hunter or something like that. And that's the whole reason why Boba's around. Now, keep in mind, Boba's also like 16 at this point, so it'd be kind of weird. So I don't know.
I mean, he'd still be because what would he be up to right now? The last time we saw him, he was messing around with bounty hunters.
Yeah, no, he's in that.
So-
He's building a name for himself right now, but he's
Yeah,
16 at this point, so like she would know who he is, and she's just an up and coming bounty hunter at this point. Like by the time of Mando, she's like notorious for being one of the like deadliest bounty hunters. But right now, she's like new.
Yeah, and Cad Bane even like calls her out. He's like, "Yeah, you're not that guy. You're not that guy."
And then gets his ass kicked.
He's like, "Are you? Yeah, I'm that guy."
Hey, a little lady.
You're not that guy.
I always forget that Seth Green is the voice of Toto.
The robot. Yeah, I was wondering when Cad Bane showed. I was like, "Are they gonna bring Seth Green back?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure they did."
Yeah,
it sounds exactly like.
Well, and I'm playing through Mass Effect right now, right? And hearing him, I'm like, "Hey, it's Toto."
He's in that as well.
Yeah, he's Joker.
I've never played any of them.
He's the
I thought
pilot.
that was Heath Ledger.
No, that's he's he's the pilot of the Normandy in Mass Effect.
I mean,
Is
we
he
think
also-
Boba's young, but what was it, Ezra in Rebels? He was.
Yeah, he was doing
he's-
everything.
Isn't he like 13 or 14?
Yeah, he was 14, 16 by the end of the show.
There you go. But it was just fine.
I'm more thinking about the
Boba been doing shit.
like
Uh,
there's
We
like
didn't
a
know there's
common
anything there.
theory going around like in Book of Boba that Boba and Fennec are doing the dirty.
Hmm.
I don't know if I subscribe to that.
What
'Cause
kind of theories are you? What kind of theories are you looking at?
Rule 34.
Wait, you know, in Mandalorian, I mean, maybe it's just because the physical actors just aged, but Boba looked way older. Not way
I
older.
agree.
but
I mean,
older
falling
than
into
he's
a
been
falling into a
Fennec.
Sarlacc pit will do that too. Because I mean, Tamora Morrison in general does not look that old.
no.
Like if so this came out in the last 3 weeks or so. There was a New Zealand ad for hot pools that Tamora Morrison did, where he's like, I just got off the set of Book of Boba. I just really want to sit in a hot pool. Come to New Zealand, and that was the thing. And he looks good. Like he looks totally different than he does in Mando. Like I didn't realize. Well, I knew there was a lot of prosthetics they put on him in Mando, but he looks good. I think he's like 50 or something like that. He looks good.
Nah, he's older than that.
And let me do a quick.
I'm
Google.
checking.
He
Hey,
is
Google.
60. He is 60.
He's 60?
He looks great
Yeah.
for 60.
Jesus. Easily, I
Yeah,
would
for being
think he's
60.
40.
Yeah, in Mandalorian, he look at you then, wow. Mr. Morrison.
He does a Polynesian spa, and he just talks about it. He's like, I just got off the set of Book of Boba. Like, yeah.
Do you wanna poop?
Speaking
Annoying.
of Boba Fett, have you guys seen the whole Slave One debacle on Twitter?
No, what is that?
No, not really.
Okay, so backstory.
It's stupid.
It's literally stupid. I think I think it might be the stupidest argument that Star Wars fans have ever gotten into, and that's saying something. So there's a new Slave One Lego set coming out, which comes with Boba and Mando. I got the hiccups. And they renamed the box name Boba Fett Starfighter. No big deal. No big deal, right? Because the head designer of Lego got told by Disney, he's like, hey, could you switch the name to Boba Fett Starfighter instead of Slave One? Simple, like it's pretty straightforward marketing. Just I'll get to that in a second. But there's a section of the internet that is being like, this is Disney pushing their SJW, whatever the hell, changing the name of Slave One into Boba Fett Starfighter. They're rewriting the history of Boba. Okay, you're ruining my childhood. I've seen that over the last couple of days. Then there's the other side of it being like, I've never been comfortable with the name Slave One. I'm glad they're changing it and not making it sound like Boba was hunting down slaves in the 1800s kind of thing. And I'm like, it's It's literally just Disney being like, most people don't know it's called Slave One. It's gonna sell easier if it's called Boba Fett Starfighter. That's literally it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the past,
Especially if you're actively trying to also like generate hype for like a property called Book of Boba.
Exactly.
Like you're clearly trying to be like, hey, we
Boba
want the name Boba out there right now.
Boba
'cause
Fett's
we're
name is
trying to
more
push a show.
recognizable than Slave One is. I
Mhm.
think Slave One's a great ship. It's one of my favorite ships. I'm fine with them being like, it's a kid's toy that they don't want to put slave on it. Okay, that's fine, whatever. And it's more recognizable as Boba Fett Starfighter. It's not the first time Lego's even done that. When the Mandalorian, like the Razor Crest was first getting announced as a Lego set, they just called it the Mandalorian's transport. That was it. The only ships that they don't,
That's ruining my
it's
childhood.
exactly like the only ships
Right now.
that they don't call is like the Millennium Falcon, a TIE Fighter, or X-Wing. Everything else is called X person's name Starfighter. That's about it. Like Anakin's, it's so aggravating. I'm like, calm down. There's a child's toy. Thoughts, concerns.
And that's what it's always been. Like that, like Boba Fett has always just been super recognizable. Like,
Exactly.
even from the first movie where he was in it for like what 2 minutes in the background.
Everybody loved
It
him.
was like, who's that guy? I want his toy.
Yeah.
Give me that guy. Like just because he looks cool and everybody likes Boba Fett.
So
Sounds cool, looks
speaking
cool,
of
does cool stuff.
background for 5 minutes, there's a guy that was Boba Fett for episode 4 when he wasn't even shown yet, but he wore the white armor, the prototype armor that they used for like 10 minutes in a deleted scene. So he's going off on Twitter being like, Slave One's always the name of my ship. It's like, bro,
Hashtag my boba.
exactly. Like
As
he
the
literally
original Boba.
as the original Boba, and then he's like,
Hear my decree.
he's like invoking the name of I forget his name, the guy that played Boba in 4 and 5. Anyway, he died like a year and a half ago, and he's like, if he was still alive today, he would be on my side about Slave One being the name of the ship. And like most people, like even people that were like on the side of like, you're ruining my childhood, are like, bro, you're Boba for about 5 minutes, and you weren't even in the movies. Like, you were literally just the test. Like, you're the test subject, is what you were. It's nuts. It's literally the stupidest argument I've ever seen about a stupid Lego set. And yeah.
People will just, I don't know, man. I think everybody's just, tensions are high throughout the world and everybody just wants to explode about something or other.
And
But
it just happened to be a freaking Lego set that they changed the name on for marketing
it's so
purpose. Like,
funny.
what?
It's a Lego set. Like, why are you mad?
Like,
It's toys.
are they changing the name entirely or just for the Lego set?
Just
Like,
for
it's
the
still
Lego.
known.
They just
As
changed
of right
what's
now,
written on the box of
just
a Lego
what's
set.
written on the box. Exactly.
Of a Lego set.
Like,
Well, I mean, and was it even ever called?
it's
Slave
never
One
been
in
called
any
Slave
of the
One in
movies?
any of
Yeah.
the media. Like in comic, like the only things it's been called Slave One in is like visual dictionaries and games and old Legends books, and that's about it. They could easily change the name if they wanted to. I doubt they would. I think maybe in the Book of Boba Fett there'll be like, call it like Django's Legacy or something like that. He's like, I'm gonna change the name. That's a new me. But like, as of right now, they're like, it's literally just the box art.
Yeah, it's a stupid argument. Like, get over it. They just want money.
Buy the Lego, dude. Just build it, have fun.
From a
Yeah.
marketing standpoint, it makes more sense to call it Boba Fett Starfighter.
No parent's gonna want to buy something that says Slave One.
Exactly. So Brian Ward on Twitter edited this picture, and it's a picture of the set, but the name of the set is I'm a person. My name is Anakin 1. It's one of my favorite things that have come out of this.
I'm a person.
My name is One.
So I think the name of this podcast will be I'm a person. My name is Slave 1.
Still one of the cooler ship designs.
It's
And
it's literally my
easily-
favorite ship.
Easily
Like,
the best sound in the entire Star Wars media.
I would
is
argue it's one of
still
the
just
best sounds
the
in
sound of the
cinema.
bombs. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The sound of the bombs from that going off, and that's why I was so happy when it shows up in Mandalorian, because that's all I wanted to hear. Was
There's
just those
there's
bombs going
a
off.
very specific noise I made when that bomb went off, and I'm not gonna imitate it because
Much less describe it.
I can see it being that.
like,
Okay.
Um,
It's-
sorry, I'm
So what
just
was the
looking
other
at a
news?
picture of the sleeve one.
so anyway, after that, the new High Republic books came out. So Adrian, you got to get on that.
Fuck.
The new
They're
like
out or
it came out today, as of recording this podcast. The Rising
What
Sword,
is the title?
Rising Storm by
Slave
Savannah
One.
Scott. Slave One, a Star Wars story.
The sequel's called Slave 2, Slave Harder.
Django Unslaved.
Django. I don't know if you can say that.
Where did meet Boba and Slave?
Boba.
Boba, we're leaving.
We since we last all got together like this, though, E3's happened since then.
Yeah,
right?
no Star Wars
right.
games
Last
got
3
announced.
episodes. No Star Wars games.
Lego
but then
costs.
after E3, was it this past weekend? Is when Lego was doing their event.
Yeah,
right?
and
They
still
were
nothing.
announcing some Star Wars, and still also
This is
no
where the
release
whole
date for
Slave
the
One thing came.
Skywalker
This is
stuff
where the whole Slave One came from, was because of their Lego con.
from that same event.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No game.
I think they're just effectively confirming as well that Skywalker saga is just
It's
not
dead.
coming out.
I'm just
that
convinced.
game just doesn't
I
exist.
think it's just gonna temper our expectations and be like, you know what, it's never coming out. And then if it
They're
does,
just gonna fizzle it out. They're just gonna stop talking about.
and then if it does, great.
hmm
But speaking of
I'm done
gaming
with
news, Respawn just tweeted out something this morning. What was it?
About Fallen Order sequel?
Yeah. I think it was what game? What's the gaming magazine? What is it called? It's like Game something.
Game Informer?
IGN.
Game Informer. That's it. Yeah, they put out an article today talking about like why you should go back and play Fallen Order. And
Dope.
yeah, because it's dope, right? But then the Fallen Order Twitter account tweeted out, was like, man, EA plays in a couple weeks. It's a good time to replay Fallen Order. And so
Whoa.
yeah, exactly. And everybody's like, oh, what are you?
That's a massive hint.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're
close enough.
gonna
We'll
start seeing it.
probably release next year.
I
Probably.
think I have a hunch that they're gonna be like, it's coming out in November.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
'Cause Respawn. I mean, that's how they announced Apex. Was hey, we made a BR for FYI. Also, it's going to be free. Also, it's out like right now or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they've
Yeah.
done that sort of stuff in the past.
And I mean,
They're
they
pretty good about staying tight-lipped.
for Apex, didn't they just use the Titanfall 2 engine? Modified one?
I believe so. Yeah. It must
So
be.
I mean, they got the engine already from Fallen Order, so it makes sense that they can push it out a little bit faster.
I would think. Well, Fallen Order came out what 2019.
Yeah.
November of 2019. So it's been 2 years.
I mean, it could just as well even just be like extra content for Fallen Order if they decided to do any sort of like expansion. Like yes, a story DLC basically. Something
I
that'd
could
be
see-
like 6 hours. or
you know
something like
what?
that
I
would
could
be
see them
pretty cool
doing
as well.
Both. I could see them being like, hey, November, we've got a new expansion coming out for Fallen Order, and
Like
Fall
almost
next
like
year.
almost like a Spider-Man Miles Morales thing.
yeah, and then
Exactly,
Fallen Order is coming out in February or March. Like I could see them doing that.
Yeah.
Which would be cool.
So-
But also, they recently, I think, on the PlayStation, put out the, I guess, performance pack or whatever
Yeah,
they
they
were
just-
calling it. for the
'cause they just put out
PS5 for
the-
Fallen Order.
the X and S update for Xbox as well. Like,
Mhm.
what was that, like 3 weeks ago? Something like
Yeah,
that. Like,
and-
I think the last podcast they were just pushing it out.
Yeah.
Which is cool because if anyone has not played it, getting to play
It's
it now.
one
beef
of the best Star Wars games,
beef
if
on
not the
consoles.
best. Like,
It's just very polished.
and
It's a good
the story
Play through the
itself
whole
is
way.
good. I have nothing but good things to say about that game, except for that dang frog fight in that first planet there.
Bogana? Right?
Yeah, some
Okay. Yeah.
Bogana. It's like the Great Bongo Dongo or whatever the heck that thing is.
Yeah, like the king frog of that planet or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a little like fucking man cave for no reason. He's like, check out the skylights you just busted through. I'm gonna eat your ass. You're like, why are you doing this? I just got this sword.
Defeat me and get a cloak.
Yeah.
Take my
Or
punch
die
out.
here for the next 5 times. I think it's annoying that.
Like, I didn't even know you could cut off its tongue until like halfway through the game.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You can cut off its tongue if you do a perfect parry.
And then it can't do like the
Yep.
like the shootout.
Yeah,
attack?
yeah,
Damn.
exactly. But sure, I'm pretty sure they put that mini boss in there at the beginning because they know nobody's gonna figure out that you can cut out the tongue until halfway through.
Yeah. Well,
Because I didn't figure it out until you actually like go back to the planet and all the Imperials are there because the Inquisitor hunting you down or whatever. Like I didn't figure out
Spoiler.
until then. Whatever. It's been 2 years. Calm down. Go tweet about Slave One.
Well, I played it. I'm not getting it spoiled. Just trying to,
It's the general.
won't
comment.
retroactively help others. Yeah, they heard the spoiler alert after it's already been spoiled.
The Empire comes to Bogano. Calm down.
Now we just confirmed that we did in fact spoil stuff. You're like, they might be joking. No, we just spoiled
The
it.
Empire comes to Bogano. Big plot detail there.
So you're gonna fight the Empire in this Star Wars game. You can see that one coming. You
This
fuckwit.
game has a lightsaber.
Well, that was pretty
surprised.
hitter. Spoiler. I was pretty surprised that he pulled out the lightsaber like right at the beginning of the game. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
he
lie.
just had it. Yeah, I
just
was like,
had it.
Oh, we're gonna have to go find one. I wonder who we get it from.
Yeah,
Or
he's like, nah,
"Oh,
it's just his
that's
master's one."
Okay,
I'm like,
sick. Right off the bat.
Homie's just carrying around this for 5 years and pulls it out at this moment. Great. That was the one problem I had with the game. I'm like, I kind of wanted to go explore and get this lightsaber, but I guess he's had it in his pocket.
It's like you think he wouldn't just be carrying it on him 24/7.
They can't catch me. They might think I'm a Jedi. Meanwhile, I have this lightsaber in my pocket. No,
That only Jedi have.
yeah. I crashed.
Good thing I carry
I've
it
been
on me
living
at
on the
all times.
planet that I crash landed on for 5 years. Like, come on, dude. You deserve to get caught.
And he did.
Yeah.
Being an idiot.
And his best friend
Also,
died.
spoiler
because-
right there. Adrian.
Yeah, it's fine, dude. I won't remember.
He might just skip halfway through the game and be like, "Oh wait, did I miss a part?
I had a lightsaber this whole time.
Did I miss a planet?"
I'm a Jedi.
I was really curious why Rex showed up in the middle of Fallen Order. And... What do you mean? There's
Rex
Inquisitors?
shows it. Inquisitor.
How much does the I almost called it the slave one. How much does the Boba Fett Starfighter run for?
I
Lego
think
set?
Canadian it's about 70, so probably about 45 for you guys.
Damn.
It's on the smaller
Yikes.
side. Because the one that I have is 110 Canadian. Because it's a little bit big.
Okay.
They like downsized it just a little bit.
And this would be from the Mandalorian.
Yeah, because it comes with the new Boba Fett figure, like the one from Mando. Which I'm like, I want to get it just purely for that figure, but I know that they're gonna release that figure later on for other sets because they did that for Mando too. So I'm just probably gonna hold off on this one because Disney's ruined the childhood. So why am I giving them money?
No. It's pretty cool shit.
It's literally one of my favorite like starfighters in the universe. I think I like it better than the Falcon.
You're not gonna get it.
I already have it.
You already have one.
I have a bigger. I have a
shit.
bigger one that's more detailed.
Gotcha.
Size queen.
Mine's bigger. and its name on the box it says Slave One.
It's authentic.
My box has the truth on it.
Boba Fett is basically hunting down slaves. But it's like back to that. It's like, okay, there's two sides of
This
that.
really bothered Andrew.
It really bothered me that people were getting annoyed about this. It annoys me, and it annoys me that I'm getting annoyed about it. That's where I'm at with it. I'm like, sure, his name is Slave One, but he's also a bounty hunter. Like, he probably does hunt down slaves. Like, calm down a little bit. Like, that's kind of what he probably does sometimes. They get paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, homie kills people for a living. Like this, he's
Like,
not a nice guy.
He's not a nice guy.
Yeah,
It's not
bounty hunter.
But
It's
now,
Disney. I'm sure they're gonna
like,
make him come out.
did
looking
you
nice.
see that last scene in Mando? He just walked in the Jabba's palace and killed everybody, just cause he wanted to.
Revenge?
uh, Andres, you posted a article about Thrawn possibly being casted. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? I read it. I read the article too.
This was just something. It was just as you do. You just kind of sitting on the shitter, and I just scrolled through, and Google was like, "Hey, you might be interested in this article." And the article basically just goes into, here something you might not have known is that Thrawn may have been cast weeks ago, and they just didn't tell anyone. And they were just going on about how he's been, months actually. I think they said he's been reportedly cast for months for the Mandalorian storyline. They hadn't said who it was. And I feel like we'd already talked a little bit about who we think or who we would hope is being played by Thrawn. But
I think it's probably Lars Mikkelsen. Like, that would make
would be the ideal choice.
Would make the
I feel
most
like
sense to
if
me.
you can keep the voice actors, I wish they had done that for Ahsoka as well. I guess when they did the live action iteration, but I like Rosario Dawson, so
yeah,
it's fine as well.
Andrew doesn't.
I think it's fine. It's not my favorite casting, but I got over
I hated
it.
all the Marvel shows. Then she was in every fucking one of them.
I'm like, when she showed up, I'm like, not who I would have picked. Okay, I'm over it. Like, that was literally
not me, not my first choice, but I'm not gonna set the world on fire over it. She did fine, and Ahsoka was in the live action show, which is cool.
And now she's getting her own show.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like I feel like part of what makes Thrawn a good character and like a villain as well is like his voice is such a big part of that.
The soft undertone, but still
It's soft. He's always very cool about things. He's in control. Like he's this like cool, collected individual. So he ain't even worried about anything going on. So hopefully, I'd be psyched if it's Lars.
I think it will be because Lars has done a lot of live action. Obviously, he was in The Witcher and stuff like that. So I mean, it makes sense to me. Just might as well. He's got live action experience. He kind of looks like him. Put some blue paint on him, and bada boom, bada bing, you got Thrawn.
I'm wondering how they're gonna do that. If they're actually going to be like doing a paint on his skin, or if they're just gonna be like, fucking do it all in post.
I feel like it would be both.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they're gonna like have him just keep his regular eyes? Because doesn't Thrawn have like
He has red eyes,
yellow,
red glowing eyes?
Yeah.
No, they would have to do the red. They would have to do red. That's probably what they would do. CG.
I feel like it's gonna be like a more grounded version, so it's probably gonna be like more subtle, like a paler blue, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
And like just red eyes, but I don't know if they're gonna be like, glowing
Red
like beacons and stuff.
Chiss in general have red glowing eyes. That's just kind of like one of their characteristics. So I think that's like I said. I think that's what the CG will come in.
Okay.
But it's not like a bright glowing. It's just noticeably glowing.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing in that article that you posted that I think is interesting, whether it's true or not, but allegedly Timothy Oliphant will be reprising Cobb Vanth in Book of Boba, which has me very excited because that's another one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm. He's somebody just because like the actor is cool, the character just right off the bat was cool.
Both
in Mandalorian.
because he showed up in the Aftermath trilogy of books but Chuck Wendig said that he based Cobb Vanth off of Timothy Oliphant and what was it, Justified or whatever he's in.
I think you're thinking of Hitman. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Um, whatever Western show he's in, he based Cobb Vanth off of him, and then obviously Timothy Oliphant came out and played Cobb Vanth.
You're talking about Deadwood?
Deadwood. That's what. No, Justified.
Okay.
I was right. Justified.
Oh, Justified. Okay.
I just IMDb'd. But he based it off that. So if Cobb Vanth shows up in Book of Boba, I'm all about it. It'd be kind of cool for them to have that dialogue of like, "Yo, I had your armor for 5 years. Why did you come get it?"
Yeah, just chilling with it, and I was doing stuff too. Man. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a waste of a character if they don't bring him back. And I'm sure just the general reception of that character was good. So
Yeah,
it just makes sense to have him return
and I mean they
in Boba or Ahsoka or wherever it is, they
they canceled
Mr. Oliphant.
They canceled Rangers of the the New Republic, so maybe they're reworking that and spinning off Cobb Vanth because they saw like the fans being like, "Yo, Cobb Vanth is dope."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
We'll see. Time will tell. But it would be cool to have him back. You could just join the gang.
Hey, he could replace
don't
Cara Dune for all I care. Like, he could do that. He's way better of an actor. Like,
Yeah, it's not as.
and he's a white dude. Like, I am all about it.
Whoa, I have to bring race into
Shit, dude.
I don't think that article really talked about much else. I think it just brought up the same stuff that people had already been talking about. It was like, oh, people wanted Benedict Cumberbatch, but he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to get painted blue.
No, I feel like it's probably Lars.
Mhm.
It's either Lars Mikkelsen or someone we've never heard of before. That's who I think.
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson.
It's Rosario Dawson again. It's actually Freddie Prinze Jr.
This time I went back and I watched all of Rebels.
Well, me and Andrew are related to Palpatine.
Yeah, so my mom got in contact with her birth dad, and his last name is Sheeves. So go for Papa Palpatine.
It was meant to be.
Is it Sheeves? Shee?
No,
how do
it's
you spell-
Sheaves.
Okay.
But we don't need to talk about how it's spelled,
Yeah,
Yeah.
how it sounds.
it's how it sounds, and
Of course. You would be a Sheev.
yeah, I'm happily a Sheev. Good old Papa Palps over here. Anyway, that's the that's the latest news in our house.
That really is Sheev's throne.
Yeah,
Change the spelling on the podcast, actually. And everyone's going to chime in, try to correct you, but little do they know.
little do they know.
Exactly.
Let me walk you down like a little bit of our family history right now. I was
Said my family's such Star Wars fans, we legally changed our names.
we're actually the descendants of a clone of Sheev Palpatine.
Oh no.
I'm Rey Skywalker.
I just liked that last name.
Oh no, I dropped my nub for my Elite controller. No. There it is. I think that's about it for the Star Wars news. There's not a whole lot. Like, there's a lot of little stuff. Obviously, Bad Batch. Adrian, you should get it back on to the High Republic train. Andres, I know you can't read, so
No, but I heard there's technologies and devices that will read for me. Am I
yeah, it's
hearing this
crazy. Zach didn't know. So Zach's it's been like 40 degrees up in Canada, and so Zach's been sleeping in the basement in the futon downstairs, and he heard my audiobook when I'm going to sleep, and he's like, "What's going on with your audiobook? There's like explosions and sound effects and stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, the Star Wars audiobooks are awesome."
What are they, just like plays basically then?
Yeah, they're like audio
Like
dramas.
radio dramas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It literally plays like a movie
There's
You just can't see
music and
it.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
We use the old theater of the mind. I'm about it. No, I have been meaning to check out a few different books. Like I already asked you for recommendations. You're like, oh, Book of Thrawn, Book of Thrawn. Like I do like that guy. It's on my list, my never-ending list of things I'll maybe one day get to.
Like how many canon
But I'm
books are there?
excited just to learn more about all the High Republic news and tidbits that have been coming out. I'm sure I'll get from
Allegedly,
y'all.
the the book that came out today, Rising Storm, is brutal. Apparently, it's one of the most brutal Star Wars books that's ever been released. So I'm pretty excited, kind of scared. We'll see. Um,
This one is not then a like quote unquote sequel to the other High Republic book,
Rise,
right? This is
Rise,
just
the Rising
happens to
Storm
take
is a
place in
direct
the same.
sequel to
It is?
the Light of the Jedi. Yeah, it's like basically
Oh, okay.
it's like the book that all the rest of the High Republic books for Phase 2 kind of thing are branching out of.
Okay.
Whereas Light of the Jedi was like the starting point for High Republic Phase 1 and everything else kind of came out of it. Rising Storm is Phase 2.
Oh,
Okay.
so I can go straight into this one.
Honestly, you probably could. You might have like obviously like Vanessa Rowe and stuff like that, but like the main like Avar Chris and all them that will be in this with the Nihil and all that. I'm just
Watching.
trying to find
Yeah,
out.
because the first one ended with like
First one was
shit's gonna happen.
yeah, and it sounds like in this one shit happens. Like shit's going to happen in the last one, shit happens in this one.
Cool.
Trying to find how many like canon books there are.
How long is the audiobook for the first one?
About 15, about
16 hours.
15, 16 hours.
Okay.
It's a good
No.
16.
Yeah, it's doable then.
Mm.
I don't know. I thought it was gonna be like it was like 40, 60 hours. Like, oh my
There's
God.
roughly 51 Star Wars canon books right now.
Fuck,
Mm.
dude. I'm not gonna do all that.
You probably don't need to. There's some of them that aren't great that I've powered through. There's one
The
that
rest you do have to, Adrian.
yeah, there's one that's 4 hours and 46 minutes about Rose, and that was painful for me.
Oof.
That was painful. The Phasma book is awesome. It's basically Mad Max in Star Wars.
Sick.
It's awesome. It like literally is awesome. There's one where Luke. It's like a first-person perspective about Luke fighting his first lightsaber. That's garbage. Utter garbage. Don't bother listening to that. Dark Disciple's awesome. I'm just reading through all of the collection. Last Shot is awesome by Daniel Jose Older, which is one of the guys that's doing High Republic right now. It's about Han and Lando after
That makes sense.
what's that?
No, I figured it was Han related.
Yeah,
Just last shot seemed like yeah.
and it's like a year after no, not even like 3 years after Return of the Jedi, and Han and Lando kind of go off and do this thing where they're trying to hunt down like this tower thing that turns all droids sentient and mass murdering. It's one of the more interesting books, but it's one of the better ones. Highly recommend it. I would recommend reading all the Star Wars books, but nobody's going to do that unless you're me. So,
No.
or you could just go
Too
on
much.
YouTube and get Spark Notes and be like, "Oh yeah, I know what's going on."
Which is probably what I will do. Actually.
There's some
I'll
excellent YouTube
I'll
channels
probably
for that.
do that for the High Republic. The
I do it for the
First one.
comics. Like legitimately, it's not a diss. I do it for the comics because I can't keep up with all the comics that come out. I
so
eventually
you don't read all the Star Wars
I
stuff?
try, man. If
You're
I
a
did
fraud.
that, I'm a fraud
You're
and
fake.
yeah, I'm
You're
a
not
fake fan.
sheath.
I should just turn up. This podcast is over. It's been a good run.
You probably don't even know who really said "live long and prosper." You're so.
Oh, duh, that was Legolas. This is now a Lord of the Rings podcast.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay. Honestly, I could actually talk. I think that would be fun for one of these days. Even though it's not Star Wars, just do a podcast where we just talk about Lord of the Rings lore. I could do that. Andres, I think you would be into that too.
Yeah, no, I'm about it. I'm about it. Shoot. Right before you said that, there was something else. Oh no, just because you just recently watched Fast 9 as well.
I
I just
did.
literally just got out of watching that, sat down, and then we recorded this.
Watched it on
Um,
Saturday.
there's like a random 3-minute scene where they're just talking about. I went into this movie a little baked. So I'm not gonna lie, so I'm sure this affected it, but it just felt like the characters decided to be like, let's do one of those BuzzFeed quizzes and figure out which Star Wars character you are.
Yeah,
And
no,
answer these questions. And they're like, I think I would be the Luke. And they're like, no,
You're the
no,
Yoda.
you wouldn't be Luke. You're Yoda. Like, I'm
You
Yoda.
really?
I'm Yoda.
Oh, yeah,
Like, dude,
full 3-minute
the part
scene.
is that it's the villains are having this conversation. Like it's like just randomly.
It's like I
They
think
just
I
caught
think
me
I'm.
so off guard. I was like, "What is
It
happening?"
was really weird, but I was all about it. I'm like, that's awesome. Spoiler alert
Yeah.
for Fast 9. Nobody like the thick plot of Fast 9. There's a whole scene between what's his like nationality? I never could figure it out. It's like
I don't think it's like a real one.
I think it's like a
he's
vaguely
meant to
European.
be like a fake country or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That and the Charisse Theron's character Cypher have a whole conversation. He's like, I'm the Han Solo of the group, and she goes, Nah, you're not Han Solo. He's like, you're right. Maybe I'm more of a Luke. He's like, Nah, you're Yoda, and he goes, Oh yeah, he is a powerful Jedi Master. And I'm like, man, they're really pulling out some like more lore
Yeah,
than
like they just kept going into like a little bit, like they're just making extra comments. I'm like, you just didn't need to go there, but you are for some reason, and I don't know why, but I'm about it. I'm here for it.
because you're a puppet with your hand
do
up
it.
your ass.
You think that wasn't supposed to happen, and they just were casually talking about this, and the camera people
I
were like,
think a lot of that
record
movie.
it.
I think a lot of that
I have
movie
no
was like,
idea how they
what
made
if we
it.
did this?
it's just filler, and they just this is
That
good.
movie is just such a trip. I know it has nothing to do with Star Wars. But, oh, you know what? They go to space.
they did go to
Fun
space.
spoiler. If you if you haven't seen it, you probably haven't right now. They do go to space. It had to happen.
And they call it out right away.
But
I think we're
yeah,
invincible.
it's just yeah. It seemed maybe the most self-aware, and then it tried to run with that, and it also took itself seriously at the same time. I don't know. There's not really a lot of movies like these right
I
now. They're
think-
worth watching for just the spectacle and shit show of it all.
How I explain that
I
movie.
love these movies.
Yeah, no, me too. How I explain
I
that
don't think
movie
you can.
is that everybody but Vin Diesel's character and John Cena's character know that they're in a movie.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good. Yeah,
Like
it's
everybody,
like
everybody in that
three
movie.
people have no idea they're in a movie. The other ones are very, very well aware they're in a movie.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure.
Tyrese's character, the entire movie, is literally going like, "Guys, I'm pretty sure we literally can't die.
Yeah,
Like, we're immortal.
We're immortal.
Like, I'm not trying to say it, but like, if we look at the evidence around
It's
us,
like,
we just can't die."
I got shot
And he's just
36
very
times.
aware of that fact.
I'm not dead.
It's like, look, I'm never a scratch. I never have a scratch.
I have no scars to prove this. I'm pretty sure Charisse Theron's like whole character is like, if this were a movie, like calls it out to this point, like literally says, if this was a
She
movie,
says, this is the point in the movie where you would do this. If this was a movie, you would do this, and then I would tell you this, and then that's exactly how it plays out.
like bizarre movie.
It's great.
I want Justin
Yeah.
Justin Lin to do a Star Wars movie. That's what I want.
Oh, that's the other thing I was gonna say. You were talking about the Rose book, and it just reminded me about like the sequel trilogy, and how I still wish that Disney would do like a kind of like a Marvel's What If, but a Disney's What If, and then just let random people just come up with, okay, maybe here's how the sequel trilogy could have gone. Like in the span of an episode, these are the main story beats that could have happened if somebody else made this. I don't know. I think
If they
There's
sat
there's
down
a
and
comic
planned
book.
it.
There's a comic book where they talk. I think it's like if Luke and Leia were switched, what would happen? And I think like
what since birth or at a certain.
Leia went to Tatooine
Like if
and
Leia is the one that got trained.
yeah, and like
Okay.
like there's a whole thing where spoiler alert for this like 10-year-old comic where Yoda stays alive and they're battling on Coruscant and he pulls the Death Star out of the sky onto Coruscant. Like it's weird, man.
On some Star Killer type shit.
Yeah, like I think it came out around this exact same time where like Well, if Starkiller can pull a Star Destroyer, Yoda could do the Death Star. Like,
But yeah, I don't know. Just do stuff like that. It'd be cool. Just have fun with it. You know, like include a little bit of, I don't know. Just watching Fast Furious made me just think of what if Hollywood just said, "Who gives a shit? This is all fake. You guys are all just here watching a spectacle. Let's do that real quick." It's the new Transformers, I think. Fast and Furious. And we could
Transformers
all
is getting
learn.
new. Transformers
We could
new
all
movie
learn
just
a
got
little bit.
announced. New movie just
Can
got
you imagine
announced.
if there was 9 Transformers movies?
I mean,
Is
there's
that
six.
actually how many there are?
There's six. There's
No, can you imagine if there was?
I believed it just because I was very aware of like the first 4, and then I just did not really keep up with the other ones that came out afterwards. 3?
Because what is there, like four main ones and then the Bumblebee movie?
There's 5 main ones in the Bumblebee. There's 6 altogether.
Okay, we are now a Transformers podcast.
Well, there's a new one. They're finally doing Dinobots, so I'm excited about that. They're doing the Beast. They're doing Beast Wars, so I'm all about it.
Sponsored by Linkin Park and Michael Bay.
Yeah. Well, they can't do Linkin Park because
Transformers
Chester's
needs to
dead. So
stop.
Well, I mean,
all right.
You said I'll ask you afterwards.
Yeah.
It's not important.
We're gonna end this because it's going off a tangent, and I actually I'm like about to piss my pants. So this has been episode 12 of Sheev's Throne Room podcast. I'm gonna go die in a bathroom, and thanks for joining us.